Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me this afternoon is Mark Marex, Product Development Specialist with Nasdaq Index Research, to discuss performance in the ISE Cybersecurity Index and how investors can get exposure to it. Mark, it's great to see you. Welcome back to Trade Talks. And let's talk about the composition of this particular index.
Thanks, Jill. Great to be back. Excited to talk about this index, which is very topical and not really for work from home reasons, especially just cybersecurity has continued to grow in importance over the years. This index in particular is a modified equal weighted index. So you'll see in the split there, the top 15 constituents, only about 35% of the index, which is about 50 constituents in total. So pretty low level of concentration here. You can see the biggest component, Cloudflare, at about 3.5%. That's due to, frankly, just a lot of good recent performance from that name. This index rebalances on a quarterly basis. And, you know, other things I can tell you about composition besides the concentration, about 70% US, 30% international by weight. And in terms of market cap, pretty heavily weighted towards that smaller cap to mid cap space, and about 1 to 5 billion in terms of market cap.
All right, let's flip the chart here and take a look at individual price performance.
Sure. So this is a chart that we, usually look at, top 15 constituents in an index. Might be a bit surprising to folks to see that there's one big standout here in terms of Cloudflare for the year to date. A big reason again for that is because we're modified equal weighted here. There's a ton of other constituents at similar weights that just don't show up in the top 15 constituent weights that are doing excellent in terms of year to date performance, including CrowdStrike, which is about a weight of 2%, up 167% year to date. Fastly, another one that's a weight of about 1.65%, up 269% year to date. And then finally, Zscaler with a weight of 1.3%, actually the second smallest component in the index as of yesterday's close, also up 220% year to date. So, unlike a lot of other indexes that we cover here, the top 15 actually don't tell the full story of the overall index performance, which has been very strong.
And how does it perform relative to other indexes, the other major averages that we take a look at?
Yeah, so pretty strong performance year to date. It's been underperforming the broader NASDAQ composite and the NASDAQ 100 by about 10 to 15 percentage points year to date. If we look recently, it's still up 20% year to date, which is good enough to be doubling the S&P 500. So all in all, very, very strong performance in what's been a very tricky year to find out sort of what works and what doesn't on a consistent basis. Again, kind of supports the investment case for this index as being topical with the work from home environment, but not going away just because we might be in the later stages of COVID.
Yes, of course. We all need cybersecurity. How can investors get exposure to the index through an ETF?
So there's one big product out here. It's actually listed in London. It's out of Legal and General, or LNG, the cybersecurity UCITS ETF. You could check out the ticker ISE. Again, traded in London, listed in London. And just looking at the AUM trends over here, you can see that as recently as mid-March, in that bear market low, we had about 800 billion in GBP in terms of AUM. Now we're up to almost 2 billion, so more than doubling since March. And in dollar terms, if you think about the exchange rate, that's maybe close to about $2.5 billion of AUM. So very strong growth this year.
They definitely get the prize for the most clever ticker, that's for sure. Mark, thanks for joining us on Trade Talks.
Thanks, Jill. Pleasure as always.
You got it. And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.